In the 50s, before the vaccine, you didn't know if you'd get exposed. You didn't know if your child would develop a paralyzing disease or die.
When I was about 9, I had polio, and one of the conditions of polio was, of course, people were very frightened for their children, so you tended, if you had it, to be isolated. So there was about a year and a half when I stayed at home. I was paralyzed.
People were terrified of this disease. They were terrified of polio, and it would cause public panic. These are people who were perfectly healthy 2 or 3 days before, and then 2 days later, they can no longer breathe, and this polio virus has paralyzed not only their arms and their legs, but also their breathing muscles. And they were going to spend the rest of their lives, usually, in this iron lung to breathe for them. This disease was terrifying. There was no cure, and there was no vaccine.
Sabin vaccine became available in the very early 60s.
In April 1979, I picked up a copy of the Reader's Digest, and there I read, for $100 million, the World Health Organization had eradicated smallpox. So this caused me to start to think, perhaps for something like that sort of money, we could do something similar.
RI President Clem Renouf wanted to do something big, something that was international in scope. And frankly, he didn't know what that was going to be, but he started what was called the 3H Committee. And they ended up asking Dr. John Sever.
I said, John, is there anything we could do along similar lines to eradicate something, some disease?
I thought that unequivocally I would select polio.
Why polio? Because it was then crippling and maiming 1,000 kids a day. But it was preventable, and there was a vaccine.
It was easy to give. It was not expensive, 4 cents a dose. Could be given by relatively minimally trained people.
And we had 850,000 of them scattered around the world in 40,000 communities, every country of the world. So we didn't need medical people, we could do it ourselves. So that was the basis upon which we decided to embark upon the polio immunization program.
There's a whole bunch of real heroes in this story that most Rotarians have never heard of. Most of them were past RI presidents, some were not, but all of them together had this unique determination to get this done.
There's an ending. There's a goal, and then we will finish it. And it will never have to be done again.
Rotary takes ordinary men and gives them extraordinary opportunities to do more with their lives than they'd ever dreamed possible.
But if you're not a Rotarian and you just are interested in stories about leadership, stories about how just a small number of people, if they have a vision and determination, how they can change the world, literally change the world, then this is an amazing story. And I think all of us can learn from this. You know, I don't know what task or what dreams we have, but when you hear this story, it's got to encourage all of us to go ahead and at least take a shot at it. Because look at what they did.
People can join together and do great things.